Welcome to another episode of According to Amabile. I'm your host, Michele Amabile, and today I'm very excited for my guest, Angus Clark from Dio Rules. Joins us. He's a world-class guitarist, singer, songwriter, and producer. He brings serious firepower to a tribute that celebrates the legacy of Ronnie James Dio. He's based right here in New Jersey. He leads Dio Rules on guitar. It's an all-star lineup. He's going to tell us all about it, and I cannot wait to get into this. Angus Clark, welcome to According to Amabile.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Now, tell me all about Dio Rules. Who's in the band and what fans can expect from the lineup, and what made you put together this amazing project?
Great. Yeah, I'm super excited about it. So first, I'm Angus Clark. I've been playing guitar for Trans-Siberian Orchestra for the last 25 years. And I've also recorded on several of the albums. And prior to playing with TSO, I played for a number of other artists, most notably a new age artist named Guitaro. And so I've got a big background in doing these big production shows. It's kind of where my sweet spot has been as a live performer. But I've also produced albums, made a couple albums as a solo artist. I've had metal bands of my own. And metal is kind of one of my first loves. And I was always a huge fan of Ronnie James Dio. And all three of his landmark bands, starting with Rainbow, then his time in Black Sabbath, and the original Dio band, were very formative for me as a guitar player. So while I revere his work as a singer, I'm a guitar player. I was drawn to what all of these guitar players were doing in that context, working with him. Fast forward to me in probably during the pandemic, I was, like a lot of guitar players, spending a lot of time on Zoom. So I have my lighting. I have my Zoom chops still. And what a lot of us did was we started tinkering with guitars. So I started making a Tony Iommi replica guitar, which is actually this one right here.
That is beautiful.
It's a Gibson, but it's made to look kind of like one of Tony's custom guitars that he had. I ordered the pickup special from the builder in England and kind of had this finish done by a guy named Joe Reggio. Anyway, and then I went and I got one made to look like Vivian Campbell's Les Paul from the Dio era. So I had this one made. I just ordered it from Gibson, and then I had a guy paint the top. So now I put different pickups in it. So I have a Vivian guitar. And then I'm a huge Blackmore fan because he was the guitar player in Rainbow. So I have like 5 white Strats, but I made one specifically to be the Blackmore Strat. So that starts in the pandemic, and then I started filming myself covering all this Dio stuff. Like I was covering all the Rainbow stuff and everything, and I was just making content of all that stuff, learning the solos note for note, like really doing a deep dive on it. And people were like, when are you going to start your Dio tribute, dude? Like, when's that happening? And I was like, well, I hadn't really thought about doing a Dio tribute band. But when I'm not out with TSO, I've been playing for a number of artists that are doing a similar circuit, the performing arts centers and theaters and that kind of a thing. Doing the music of Queen. I've done the music of Queen with Mark Martel and Yvonne Pedneau, a bunch of guys who were involved in the official Queen tribute project. And then I was in Rock of Ages on Broadway for like the 6 years that it ran on Broadway, and the band from that production does performances in the same circuit. We do some casino theaters, performing arts centers, and that kind of a thing. And I was really getting to know the ins and outs of that business, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do it. So I started making calls, and when you've been doing this as long as I have, you got a pretty good phone list of people that you can pick from. So,
you've got a great phone list. Vivian Campbell.
Well, I don't have Viv's phone number, but here's the thing. What I did was I I started just by making the demos, and I called Matt Starr, drummer, who's the drummer for Dio Rules. And Matt's an amazing drummer. I'm based in New Jersey, as you know, and Matt's an East Coast guy. He's in Connecticut, which is a different type of pizza, but it's fine. It's all good. Jersey pizza,
Brooklyn pizza. There's all different.
Yeah, exactly. It's all good.
Pizzas.
It's all good. And so I called Matt, and Matt was super into it, because the thing is that along with Ronnie James Dio working with three of the best guitar players in the world, he worked with three of the best drummers in the world, being Cozy Powell, Vinny Appice, and Bill Ward. And Matt knows how to do that stuff. And so Matt was very supportive, and he cut some tracks on the demos. And then I was like, well, but the big question is, who are you going to get to sing this stuff,
Which brings us to the world-class vocalist, that is
Andrew Freeman.
Absolutely. Yeah. My God, I can't think of anybody better to handle the vocals than him.
You're absolutely right. I absolutely agree. And he is truly amazing. And I was, to be honest with you, I kind of, there's two things about that, right? Like he's the obvious choice, and he's kind of the chosen one, because the band from the original Dio lineup, picked him to front last in line. And it's like, what better endorsement could a singer get? But at the same time, I was in this position of like, well, can I just call him? Because I can get his number. Can I just call him? Because like, I wonder if he'd be interested. And I was aware that Last in Line were not playing a lot of shows.
With Vivian out with Def Leppard, and people are a little busy.
Yeah, I don't know. He also had a time with health issues, and then he's out with Def Leppard, and and he's a hero to me. So it's just like that's the But I just knew that they weren't playing very much, and I didn't know if there was any reason for it to be seen as a conflict at all, or if at all. Because I know that he does other work, and everybody needs to work, particularly in this economy. So I just gave him a call, and he took my call, and he had actually seen some of my videos of me playing the Dio stuff. He knows how into it I am and everything. And we started talking. He's originally from New York. He lives in Vegas now, but he's originally from upstate. I'm originally from the city. And we just had a lot in common, started talking about it, and he cut the demos. And then I was just like, okay, I need a guy who plays keys and guitar and a bass player. And so from my time in Rock of Ages, I called Winston Roye, who's bass player, who's played with everybody from Soul Asylum to, I think, Lauryn Hill, and he's played with members of Prince's band and like all kinds. He's just got a massive resume. But I knew him from Rock of Ages, an amazing rock player. And it turns out he and I actually went to the same grammar school. We're from the same part of the city. So
that's so weird.
We go way back. Yeah, it's kind of a crazy thing. And then Mark Klett, who's kind of one of the newer members of Trans-Siberian Orchestra on my tour. He's been involved with the organization for about 4 years. So I've known him about 4 years. And he plays great guitar, plays great keyboards. And I was like, let's do this. So that's it. It's me, Andrew Freeman, Matt Starr, Winston Roye, Mark Klett. I feel just super grateful that all of these guys said yes and have put in such amazing energy and time and effort to everything we did. The demos, we did a promo video before we even had any gigs, and then we did these 2 gigs where we had very little time to rehearse and get it all together, but I think we got an amazing show out of it, and we can't wait to play these shows coming up in July.
I think if anybody hears what you put together, like just Rainbow in the Dark, just sounds amazing. And the set list, not only Holy Diver, but you really go deep with the Dio songs on there. What can people expect when they see? I mean, especially since you're going to be doing these shows around what would have been Ronnie James Dio's 84th birthday, which is so smart.
We didn't even put that together until Kathy came to me with the date.
Oh wow!
And then I was like, and the show that's on his birthday, July 10th, is in New Hampshire, the state in which Ronnie James Dio was born.
So that's going to be an event.
Yes, he was born in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, July 10th, and we're playing Derry, New Hampshire, right next door on July 10th. It's going to be amazing at the Tupelo Music Hall. So,
and then New Jersey the next day on the 11th, which the Newton Theater, which is a great theater.
Love the Newton Theater. I've played there. I've seen awesome shows there. It's great. It sounds great. And and so the run in its entirety, we start on the 8th at the Sellersville Theater. 9th is in Riverhead out on the end of Long Island at the Suffolk. Then we're up to Derry, New Hampshire for the show at Tupelo Music Hall, and then on the 11th, Newton, New Jersey, and then I get to go home and sleep in my own bed, which will be great. But it's a great run. We really want to see people come out for it. The set list is, I call it Ronnie James Dio 75 to 85 bangers only, and we start the show with some of the classic Holy Diver era material. Then we wind it all the way back and we do a Rainbow set, including kind of the really, for folks that are fans of Rainbow, I grew up on the live record on stage. And so we kind of do the live renditions of Kill the King, Man on the Silver Mountain, Blues, and then we head into Long Live Rock and Roll, and we just added, for this run, we're going to be doing Stargazer, which is
oh wow,
an epic work.
That's like the Holy Grail.
I cannot wait to hear Andrew sing that. I know that he's done it in some other contexts.
Oh, he's capable.
Yes, yeah, he crushes. Oh, what I super appreciate about Andrew is he doesn't sound exactly like Dio, which is good, but he has this depth when he sings in his upper register. He has a real depth and body to his voice, and it's that combined with this kind of a dramatic delivery, this intention that you put behind the words that really makes the material come alive. And he nails all of those things, and it's really amazing to me.
Well, what I find great about tribute shows is you have people coming to the shows that are super fans of the band and they want to hear everything, right? And then you've got world-class musicians in your band that is more than capable of delivering. And what I would want to know, Angus, is I find a lot of musicians are gravitating towards doing these kind of shows lately because I think there's a hunger out there for the music. When you have guys that can deliver, people are going to come.
We found that to be the case. I have to credit Kathy, our booking agent, for believing in this project from day one. She's amazing. She's the one responsible for getting us the bookings that we have, and it's people don't think of this things. Oh, just to finish about the set list, we do the Rainbow material, then we do the Sabbath material. Selection from Heaven and Hell's and Mob Rules, and then we go and we do a couple more from Holy Diver, and then a couple from Last in Line. It ends on the Dio material. So it's kind of like Dio, Rainbow, Sabbath, Dio. That's how the set breaks out. There's something for everybody. You'll hear Children of the Sea. You'll hear Heaven and Hell. You'll hear Mob Rules. We even do Falling Off the Edge of the World from the Mob Rules album.
Oh, wow.
And you'll also hear, We Rock and Last in Line, and, you'll hear all that stuff. And the people that know. And as you were saying, there's a hunger for stuff that people connect with. And this is something that I feel is underserved. And people don't think of it in the context of, in those 10 years, he was he was an arena headlining act the whole time. I saw him on the Mob Rules tour at the Garden, and then I saw him like just a year or a year and a half later on the Holy Diver tour at the Beacon Theater, which I think is an under 3,000 seat theater. And he took Dio and he built it back up into the arenas, because the next year I went and saw him on the Last in Line tour back at the Garden, or at the Brendan Byrne here in Jersey.
Brendan Byrne, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'll call it, the Brendan Byrne.
That's what we still call it that.
So, when we played those shows, the first two shows, Rams Head, Annapolis, and Mickey's Black Box in Lidditz, Pennsylvania, that crowd knew every word. When people are just singing along. And that's what it is in the tribute circuit that connects with people, is that they want that shared familiarity with everybody else that's there. Like, they want that experience again.
But the great thing about your band is you have guys in the band that have played with giants, yourself included.
Oh, well, I appreciate that.
You know,
it is. I think it does set a certain bar in terms of who we are as stage performers, and the quality of what you're going to get, musically. We're very proud of that, and we know we can throw down with anybody, and it's awesome to see the reaction from the folks, and to just because we're fans too, so it's like we're just all enjoying it together, and I think that's very in line with how Ronnie felt about his fans. He always wasn't it like the inside cover of Last in Line, or a huge picture of like a bunch of his fans. Like, he loved it. He loved
a little everything. Love letter to the people that made him who he was. Like, and that was the nice thing about him. He never forgot who got him there.
Yeah, famously one of the nicest guys with the fans and everything. So anything we can do to honor him, and we're actually kind of putting our money where our mouth is on that, because there's a portion of every ticket sold goes to the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund. So if you come to the show, a portion of your ticket will be donated directly to that organization, which funds cancer research and so on. So.
Which is near and dear to the fans' hearts. Anybody that loved Ronnie, it was so sad to lose him that way.
That was tragic.
Tragic. But Angus, I'm so glad that you're doing this. What a journey you've had! Rock of Ages band, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, like bringing joy every Christmas season to the West Coast.
It is, I know as an East Coaster,
and it's warm out there when you're doing.
Raised in New York City, lived in Brooklyn for years, moved here to New Jersey, kind of in the early 2010s. When I was hired by Trans-Siberian Orchestra in 2001 and got the West Coast band, which there's kind of no way for me to do the there's no way for me to switch over and do the East Coast band, because because
you're the face of the West Coast band. They're expecting you.
Well, it's all Chris Caffrey is the face of the East Coast band and MCs the show.
Right.
Whereas with us, Al Petrelli MCs the show. So it's just, there's just no way. And like when I had my daughter, I was like, please, can I move so I could be home for Christmas? And it's like, come on. You know how to do that to people. They know what they want. The West Coast band, the West Coast fans are expecting expecting you, and the East Coast fans are expecting Chris. Just let them have what they want. I was like, okay. So and I love my band, so it's all fine, and I'm mostly kidding about that. I did ask, but as a dad, you have to ask, right?
Yes, you have to ask. I have 3. I understand.
So, TSO is just such an amazing organization, and it's been such a big part of my life, and it's taught me so much about stage performance, production, and putting on a memorable show and how to connect with fans. And it's just, anyway, it's tremendous. I also owe the TSO for introducing me to Mark Klett. So, and now anyone that comes to see Dio Rules, you see myself and Mark both performing. And I couldn't be more grateful just for TSO and all of the great folks I've had the opportunity to work with. One thing I'll bring up about that is, I played Sellersville with Joe Lynn Turner, and Joe was in Rainbow. And the feeling you get standing on stage with someone with a voice like that it's electrifying, and through the TSO, like we have Jeff Scott Soto in our band on Trans-Siberian Orchestra, who's, amazing. And we had Paul Rodgers from Queen come out and sing with us, and Robin Zander. So I've had these opportunities, where you get that, we're wearing in-ear monitors, and you get the sound of a legendary voice coming down the monitor for you, and it's amazing. And Andrew's one of those guys. He's got it. And everybody, I don't have to tell anybody that, but I'm just saying.
Well, like I said, you played with giants. And I'm sure when you were in the Rock of Ages band, there were tons of them coming out to see that show. I mean, that show, one of my favorite Broadway shows ever. My boy, Konstantin Maroulis.
Yeah, that actually the first gig that me and Matt Starr played on together was with Connie. Yeah. And I've done a bunch of gigs with Konstantin over the years, beyond Rock of Ages, like some of his solo band stuff and a few different things. And yeah, he's a pleasure to work with as well. So yeah, it's nice to be in this position where I was able to put this together. I feel like there are a bunch of people that do some version of a Dio tribute and this kind of thing, but to really, for us to focus in and be able to do the strongest material from his powerhouse era from 75 to 85, to have folks on every instrument that can cover what's uniquely different about it. I mean, the Cozy Powell drumming on the Rainbow stuff is no joke.
Very intricate.
It's just, and it's insane. And then the Vinny Appice stuff is a whole other version of insane. It's just like it's really two such different styles, but having Matt cover all of that, and then Andrew just has this unflagging ability to nail all of it, and it's great with the crowd. And so I'm just trying to keep up at this point. I put it together, but now I'm just trying to keep up.
Well, I can't wait for people to see this show. Do you have a website that people could go check out?
We're going to launch that this week. I'll send you the link for the show notes. I don't have it right now. I apologize. But if you go on Instagram, it's just at Dio Rules Band.
Dio Rules Band. Yeah, that's on socials.
Yeah, same on Facebook and Instagram. Follow us there, and we'll have the website up shortly. And but the main thing is, if you're anywhere near the East Coast, or you want to take a trip up here during the summer, I mean, it's July. It's like, it's going to be nice, Come on up to Derry, New Hampshire for the birthday celebration on the 10th. You can go hiking after. You can head on up to Maine. Schedule your vacation around it. So,
Dio and the beach in Jersey.
So Dio Rules starting July 8th, Sellersville Theater, July 9th, the Suffolk and Riverhead, New York. July 10th, Tupelo Music Hall, Derry, New Hampshire. July 11th, Newton Theater, Newton, New Jersey, bringing it home for that last show.
Angus Clark, Dio Rules. Thank you so much for coming on According to Amabile. We'll see you further on up the road. I'm Michele Amabile. Thanks for watching.